Hello and welcome to another special episode of HW Straight Drive with me, Anil Rajpuri, and our sports editor Mahesh Kuti. After a fabulous victory over Pakistan, India plays Afghanistan in its next encounter. With Afghanistan nearly destroyed by the English team, Mahesh, do you think India would be able to score a 400 plus runs in the match against Afghanistan?
You know, in this match between India and Afghanistan, I think it's a foregone conclusion. Everybody believes India is going to comprehensively beat Afghanistan. Now the challenge is whether India will score 400 runs or not. There's a great chance for the Indians to score 400 because the Indian batting lineup looks in great form. You have Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma who scored two centuries and a half century. Virat has scored a few runs. Rahul was looking in good nick, and then of course the middle order who's not been tested to the limit, but they'll all come into play when they have to play against Afghanistan. 400, there is a possibility. For that, India of course has to bat first.
The most interesting point in the match between Afghanistan and England, apart from the English batting and Ian Morgan's batting, was Rashid Khan, who has been hitting more than 100 runs, in fact 110 runs in his over. Do you think he would be able to gain his confidence back?
You know, Rashid Khan came into the World Cup as the star performer for Afghanistan. Unfortunately, he has not lived up to the expectation. He's just picked up 3 wickets in the World Cup so far. Yesterday also, he came in the 19th over, 20th over. Everybody expected him to come and start troubling the English batsmen because English batsmen traditionally don't play spin bowling well. On the contrary, they just, in fact, massacred him. He gave away 110 runs in 9 overs, which I think is the first, it's a world record by itself. So yes, he will be completely, down with confidence. There will be no confidence left in him. This will be a great opportunity for India to pile on, score the runs. So that is why I'm saying 400 is definitely a possibility.
The Afghani team reached the World Cup by defeating West Indies in the final of the qualifier. The captain was changed at the very last moment before the beginning of the World Cup. Do you think it is the reason, the captaincy change is the reason why the Afghani team has not been able to perform well?
The gap between Afghanistan and the other teams is still quite wide. See, Afghanistan played well with the teams of their standard. I mean, they beat Scotland and all those teams. But when it comes to playing teams like England, they play Australia, India, it's not going to be easy for Afghanistan. See, the reason is that there is very little experience in the Afghanistan lineup. Okay, they've hardly played 50 overs cricket. See, we all get carried away with the Afghani players because they play franchisee cricket around the world. Those are all 20 over matches. In 20 over matches, Rashid Khan is a terror because he has to bowl only 4 overs. He comes in the death and bowls those 4 overs. People try to hit him and he gets a lot of wickets. A 50 over match is very different from a 20 over match. The players get themselves in and then they start scoring runs. I think the Afghans have still not been able to, break the code of how to play a 50 over game.
Just talking about the performance of the Afghani team. In fact, the batting looks good. In the yesterday's match, they registered one of the biggest totals in the World Cup history. What are the things which the Afghani team should do before the match against India?
The basics have to be done. The Afghanistan team members, the batsmen were trying to hit. Of course, they didn't have a choice because they were chasing 397 runs. Should they be batting first, they should keep having small milestones. That at the end of 15 overs, they should be close to 80, 85 runs without losing too many wickets. At the end of 30 overs, they should be about 160, 170 runs. The wickets in hand is the key. And that is something that the Afghanistan players should remember. Singles are very important. In the match against Pakistan, when they were chasing 337 runs, Babar Azam was playing some delightful shots. 4 shots he would hit straight to the fielder and 1 shot he used to push it between them and get a boundary. The problem with these kind of things is that there is no momentum. If you pick up a single every ball and you get a left-right combination coming in there, the bowlers have a lot of problem. The Afghanistan team would be well advised to start thinking about singles and not trying to hit every ball out of the ground.
Let's talk about the Indian team. In the match between Pakistan, Indian team had a concern. Bhuvneshwar Kumar left the field in the middle of his over. Do you think Mohammad Shami would be able to replace the performance which was been displayed by Bhuvneshwar Kumar?
See, I don't have any problem with Shami coming in because I think he is also a rhythm bowler. And if he gets his rhythm and there's There's no doubt about it. He's quicker than Bhuvi. He uses the cutters quite well. He's got good change in pace, just like Bhuvi. So India won't miss Bhuvneshwar Kumar too much with the ball. But as a batsman, if there is a situation that India needs somebody to go and at least score 10-15 runs, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar scores over Shami. But overall, looking at India's performance so far and the batting that they have, I don't think the tailenders would be asked to go out and score runs. So it's a good replacement. Shami replacing Bhuvi, I don't think there will be too much of an issue for India.
For India at this moment of the tournament, where they are just left with two genuine fast bowlers, do you think the Indian selection would have been very careful in picking up one more fast bowler?
You know, right from the beginning, I've always believed that India should have had an extra pace bowler instead of an extra spinner. We've gone there with 3 spinners, that is Jadeja and the two leggies. But we just went with 3 seam bowlers for a tournament which is so important. It's a long tournament. Believe you me, it's almost 45 days. So the chances of getting injury, because you're going to play 9 games before the semi-finals and finals. So if you're playing so much of cricket, there is every chance that your bowlers can break down. Bhuvi has had some problems with his hamstring. Hopefully it won't be very serious and he should be able to come back. Maybe he might not be able to play against Afghanistan, but maybe the matches to come later on he would be able to play. But we should have gone with a seam bowler to start with. Maybe if Bhuvi is really bad, they might immediately call for a replacement.
Do you think the injury of Bhuvneshwar Kumar in that game versus Pakistan was a blessing in disguise for Vijay Shankar, because he was not able to perform well with his bat? When he came for bowling, he took 2 wickets. Do you think this makes his chance in the next game?
Yeah, I mean, he was really lucky, I must say. He picked up a wicket with the very first ball in World Cup cricket, which is in record by itself. You know what? Opportunities present in different forms. You need to seize the opportunity. I think he did that quite well. The ball that he got Imamul Haq was nothing brilliant or anything. Just put it on the right line and length, just cut back in a bit and he got a wicket. He picked up a good catch as well. So all said and done, he grabbed the opportunity, and that is important. So whether it was a blessing in disguise or not, I wouldn't know, but the fact is that he got an opportunity, he grabbed the opportunity.
Vijay Shankar is being made to play in place of a batsman who nearly saved his career during the Nidas Trophy. Dinesh Karthik was the other end during the finals versus in the Nidas Trophy, and Vijay Shankar was at the batting end. Dinesh Karthik gave confidence to Vijay Shankar. Do you think the Indian team or the Indian management should replace Vijay Shankar with Dinesh Karthik?
See, Vijay Shankar gets in another dimension, that is his bowling along with his batting. Even in that finals against Bangladesh, he was not able to connect. But that was a very tight situation and experience was not there with him. This match against Pakistan would make him feel so confident because he's contributed in a big way. He's picked up 2 wickets, he had a catch. So maybe you might see a different Vijay Shankar coming to play the next time around against Afghanistan. But whether he's a better option than Dinesh Karthik, I would say yes, because he's a good bowler in conditions that are overcast and which helps seam bowlers. He's a good fielder as well. So as of now, I don't see any reason why we should be replacing Vijay Shankar with Dinesh Karthik.
Both the Indian spinners, especially Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal, the selection was been questioned with the performance in the earlier games. Do you think versus the game against Pakistan, they have been justifying their performance in the playing 11?
See, Chahal I think was not questioned as much as Kuldeep, and the reason they were questioning Kuldeep was because he was quite slow in the air. But that wicket of Babar Azam has changed Kuldeep. He actually gotten India into the game because they were going pretty well. The Pakistani batsmen were going okay. Though the run rate was going up, they had not lost a wicket. But the delivery by which he got Babar Azam out was a peach of a delivery. It drifted, gripped the surface, came back and knocked off his stump. That would have given him a lot of confidence. Remember, spin bowling is all about a lot of confidence, and I think Kuldeep Yadav has got confidence now. You might see a very different bowler as the tournament progresses.
So before going to the prediction of the India versus Afghanistan game, do you think the trolling which the Pakistani team is facing on the internet, is it been justified? Because does trolling makes the fan a great game of the cricket, in the great game of the cricket?
Once the match is over, I think we should all stop doing all these things. This trolling, abusing, the language that was used in social media was not worth even speaking about. After all, it's just a sport. We don't see this kind of animosity when India play Australia or India play England. But when India play Pakistan, the fact of the matter is that it gets everybody, every citizen of both the countries get involved into it. For them, it becomes bigger than the World Cup finals. In fact, most Pakistanis would have agreed to win against India and yet lose the...
Similar with the Indians.
Yes, the same thing holds good for India, which I don't think is the right way to play cricket. It's a great feeling to beat Pakistan, but that's not... We have not completed our job there. We have to go ahead and win the World Cup. I mean, I saw some of the comments made by the Pakistani fans on their own players. I mean, it was disgusting. I mean, why would you... Who would want to lose? Maybe on hindsight, they go to pubs and pick up pictures and say that these people did not rest properly. Had Pakistan won, would anybody have done anything like this? In the Champions Trophy finals, do you know what they did the previous night? Nobody talks about it. I think the Pakistani fans are not matured enough to handle that situation. I don't think the Indian fans are as bad as the Pakistani fans, because when we lost the Champions Trophy finals, we didn't see television sets being broken.
Do you also think the criticism which Sarfaraz Ahmed, the captain Sarfaraz, is facing is also justified? A former Pakistani player called Aqib Javed said that Sarfaraz is a weak leader and became captain by incident.
Well, when he won the 2017 Champions Trophy, nobody complained about him. That time they thought that he was a fighter, and, those kind of adjectives were used for him. Suddenly he's become brainless. Even I heard Shoaib Akhtar coming out and saying that he was a brainless leader. Now, whether it was he who made the decision of putting India into bat, or was it a team management decision, people didn't know. But it's usually a collective decision. It's a coach, the captain, the vice captain, the senior players sit together and say, okay, we're going to either chase or going to set. So putting all the blame on Sarfaraz, I don't think is right. Then there was another video that went viral about he yawning. Now that is something that he will have to tell and explain to his countrymen as to why he was yawning, whether he was actually feeling sleepy. See, that was the reason why I think Pakistan lost. There was lack of intensity. It had to be, very intense battle. If that would have been there, I don't think the Pakistani fans would have felt bad. They thought that the Pakistani players did not put their best foot forward, and that has troubled them, and that is why this backlash.
Let's come back to the India versus Afghanistan game. What do you think who do you think would be the key players for both their teams in the match?
See, let's start with Afghanistan. They would pray that Rashid Khan comes to his own, because if he is also again going to be hit around for about 70-80 runs, there's no way Afghanistan can win the game. So for them, the key player is going to be Rashid Khan, and along with him is Mohammad Nabi. I think he also bowls pretty well. For India, of course, if India is going to bat first, it's going to be Virat, Rohit and KL Rahul. If they play well, 400 is not going to be difficult.
And what are the predictions for the Afghan game?
This could be one of the easiest predictions, and I would want to say without an iota of doubt that India are the hot favourites for it. But like they say in cricket, you never know. We might get a surprise, but very, very unlikely. India should be able to beat Afghanistan. For me, it's more important for India to beat with a huge margin to improve their run rate.
With the Indian team high on confidence and Afghani team playing for just their near survival, we would see a great game of cricket between both the countries. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.